All right, nuclear, whenever you're ready, you can begin.
Nuclear power is made by splitting a uranium atom. Nuclear energy is an economic powerhouse. An economic powerhouse means something that works hard to almost revive or restore our broken planet. The uranium you have to dig for, but it is in most rocks. You also have to make the power plant, so after you get both, you only make money from them. Nuclear is a safe and clean way to power the U.S., non-renewable source, but there are many other elements that work during this process. Thorium, plutonium, deuterium, and tritium work as fuels also. They all have the same isotopes, so they work.
Nuclear energy does not burn fuel. Therefore, it does not pollute the earth with greenhouse gases like coal and biomass do. If we are to stop global warming, not reverse it, it is very, very clean. Nuclear energy cannot reverse the process of global warming, but it does not help create more fumes. If we use it everywhere, we can make sure global warming does not continue. Pure access atoms, but they are so clean they cannot be reprocessed. They can be reprocessed and used to turn turbines and repower the power plant, not create new nuclear energy.
The amount of energy output in a fingertip-sized piece of uranium ore has enough potential energy equivalent to 150 gallons of oil that will pollute the earth. Even though the power output is large, we will run out eventually, so we are equaling out with other elements of the periodic table.
Nuclear power plants are inexpensive to build and dig in the ground compared to solar generators. We have hundreds of power plants in the world. We continue to build power plants, and it will be a good use of our money.
Nuclear power is the safest of all energy sources there are. It is the highest safety record of all energy sources. We are beginning to add more safety precautions to the power plant, like safety rods, which can shut down the power plant in extreme emergencies. We are also planning to add concrete to all of our power plants to contain explosions. Finally, we are also creating ways to store the worst of our problems, the radioactive waste, such as our newly invented underground building that can store electricity and waste.
So in conclusion, nuclear energy should be used everywhere to create a clean, better environment for us. It is a must-have if we are to live on with our normal lives. With benefits, safety, and cleanliness, nuclear energy is superior to all energy sources.
Done?
Yes.
Done. All right, and good job. Both teams always remember, not just for this one, but for everything, say done, but always look at your partners before you do it.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, Solar, whenever you're ready.
Unlike other energy sources, solar has zero byproducts that will be harmful, so it has no waste or any pollution of any sort.
Since solar energy is a free and abundant power source, since the sun is free, if you need more energy for the solar and whatever for the solar energy you can collect with a battery in the solar panel, which is the energy's new way of storing energy. Also, solar energy is a clean energy source and will not pollute, unlike other energy sources which use fossil fuels, but not every other energy source, but some other energy sources that use fossil fuels and burn coal to make pollution for the earth.
Solar power. If you use a solar power plant for one day can collect enough for a whole year for a household in America. And this could mean if we kept making more power plants, we could get more and more energy for our for the USA. Solar panels may be pricey to buy, but once you collect enough energy and give some to the company you bought them, you can get money back from, like, so you don't have to pay a bill. And then you will easily pay back your debt of buying the solar panel.
Solar energy saves you money. Well, after you pay the stuff for the solar panels, and if after you have the solar panels, you will have the sun is free, and unlike some other energy sources, it takes a lot of money to just build one thing for, say, like a nuclear power plant. That is a lot of money to build.
Solar energy is also like really clean, and it doesn't pollute more than like nuclear because it can somehow be created and then like do a giant explosion.
Solar energy is also really renewable, and you can use it whenever you want to. Done.
All right, nice job, both teams. So solar is going to start with their argument, then we'll go to nuclear's defense. But then remember, nuclear, you get your argument, and solar gets a defense. It's always very clear to me that it goes this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this. But we forget sometimes. So just look at each other and remind each other politely, okay? All right, solar. Whenever you're ready, Graham, are you ready with the timekeeping?
I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.
You might say that your chambers will become better and better and keep the waste away from people. But the chamber is going to rot and rot until the waste reaches people.
The nuclear chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Done?
Done.
Done.
Thank
We are trying to avoid that by creating ways to store waste, and we have created newer power plants that produce less waste. So it's just making it better all around with producing less waste, but we still have to store it somewhere. With the underground building that we've explained before in our beginning, that it is safe and it won't rot for many, many years, and by then we will have fixed it. Done.
Where'd it go?
Okay, I got one. The installation cost for solar panels for one solar panel is a disadvantage. The overall cost of a panel is dependent on how much energy, measured in watts, your home or business needs, or how much direct sunlight the structure receives in a typical year. Total installations cost around $15,000 and range well past $40,000 depending on the home and whether you install the system yourself or have it installed by a professional. That's a lot of money. Good? Is everything good? Done.
Well, you don't actually have to buy a solar panel. You could connect with a solar powered plant and get enough energy, but you might still have to pay for that. And so you wouldn't have to pay for it yourself. And well,
Like we said before, the sun is free, so
it's not like you're paying for anything else.
yeah, you're only paying for the solar panels.
And then you can easily pay that back by collecting your energy.
Yep.
Done.
Done.
You want to read this? Nuclear produces radioactive waste as a byproduct with few disposal options available that are 100% safe. So nuclear energy can be potentially dangerous for everyone. Done.
That is true, but we are creating ways to store the nuclear waste in the earth so it will not remain in harmless.
Done. Oh yeah, okay, number two.
Solar panels cannot collect any energy during nighttime or under clouds.
Well, if you use a battery to collect all that energy that you collected in where the sun was and before you collected before, you could use that energy that you have collected, and that's energy's way of collecting right now for energy. So.
Well, since you're collecting the day before, you would have enough energy, and like if it was a sunny day and you weren't collecting during night, that energy you saved during the day would go into the night, and you wouldn't you would be using that energy instead of just like collecting during that time. And you would have leftover energy unless you're like a crazy electronic person.
Electronic freak.
Yeah.
Done.
Nuclear energy, the radioactive gas can make cancer, radiation sickness, and genetic mutation for people, and this could be a really big problem.
Done.
You actually can grow a garden right next to a power plant, for example, and the plants will grow like obviously you water them and everything to keep them alive, but you would have to nothing happens to it because the gas, yes, it is radioactive, and yes, we are storing it. So the gas that you see coming out of the top of the power plant, for example, is just steam. That's why people say we pollute a lot, and they also think it's radiation, but it's just steam. Done.
Yeah. In the production of solar panels, nitrogen trifluoride and sulfur hexafluoride are included. These are some of the most powerful greenhouse gases and have thousands of times the impact on global warming compared to carbon dioxide. Done.
Oh, okay. Well, we were watching a video yesterday, we could probably show it, and it was a guy making a solar panel, and you did not see anything going up in the air. You didn't see any pollution. He was putting together a solar panel. There was no pollution in the process, and so maybe some solar panels might have them, but the one he was making made none. So we're probably going to improve that by not making it pollute when we make them.
Done.
Transportation of the waste is risky. As many unknown variables, many affect the containment vessels. If one of these vessels were compromised, the results may be deadly.
Done. Well, making the nuclear power plant's gonna take a long construction time. Done.
Number 3.
Okay, they aren't expensive to build, and really all they are is concrete pillars. Concrete pillars that just harness the energy that's just exerting and creating so much power. It's just all it is just a big enclosement. It doesn't take that long. It's just making concrete walls and then putting all the little gadgets and gizmos inside. Done.
Yeah, I have number 16.
Number 16? Okay. Number 16. You do it.
Construction of the solar panels requires rare metals.
That are expensive to buy and they're also hard to find, so that would make it even more expensive to buy. Done.
Well, probably that company that is making those solar panels has gotten money for that, and so if those metals were expensive, they could buy it, and for like with their money they have gotten from selling their solar panels.
Done.
The problem of radioactive waste is still an unsolved problem for nuclear energy.
Done.
Like we said, we are creating ways to store the waste in the earth so it can't remain in the oceans.
So it's really safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really safe, like all around. There's not going to be any harm.
Bury it, but you can't let it come back up.
Yeah.
Basically, like, are we done?
Done. Done.
Okay.
Okay, now. Number 3?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do that one. Do that one.
Yeah. We just didn't move his mag. Did the lunch come down?
So, no, this is
Okay, so everybody's, thank you.
Right. The weather and anything heavy can destroy the solar panels.
And then,
Yes, we have a video of a solar panel getting crushed by a tree. And the tree is more or less big, but if you think rather than something a lot more structurally sound, like our power plants, the only thing that can really harm them, even though they have really amazing concrete, is they still, the only thing that can possibly harm them is earthquakes, and there's many in Illinois, and when was the last time we had an earthquake?
You guys want to use your extension?
Yes, we are.
Okay, I'm changing extensions to a minute anyways. I think it needs to be. So you have 2-minute long extensions, guys?
Yeah, for video.
Okay. So we have a video.
why are they going on Google Docs?
Because that's where our video is.
That's where our video is.
Videos and Google.
That's cool. It's easy. You
I know.
just link it. It's just a link. That's all it is. And then you, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no, that's inappropriate. I know, but I'm not using it. I know, that's our conversation. No, how about you just use it?
Seconds.
You can use your
yeah,
other
it's number
extension
3.
if you'd like.
It's number 3. Yeah, it's number 3.
Come on, hurry. Well,
But you just muted it, yeah. Okay.
Did they get to show the video if the time runs out?
They can ask for their second extension.
yeah, we're gonna ask you. Really? Yeah.
I can't hear it, guys. Oh, I'm
You guys
sorry.
like to use your second extension? Yeah.
Look at that. Holy cow.
Right in half.
But you guys, I can't hear it for the camera, so that's not. We need to be able to hear it.
Holy. Get back in. Whole prop buy is coming too.
With that, you have to buy a completely brand new solar panel, and that's so much money. They just went down the drain. Whereas in this case, went down the gully. And then you can just, I can imagine it. It just goes, oh, it's sitting on the hill. Woo, slide down, gets crushed by another tree. It's wasted money right there. That's putting money into the garbage can.
Saw it fall on it.
All right.
So you guys are done?
Yeah.
All right. So was that an argument or a defense? Just so I'm clear.
There was an argument.
That was your argument.
Argument, yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. I figured so.
Well, as you can see in that video, that was clearly a tropical storm, and that would have had to been a really strong storm to knock down that tree, because that doesn't happen every day.
no trees like just randomly fall onto solar panels purposely. So that was probably just once in a blue. So.
And if you need to stabilize your solar panel, you just give some of the, was it energy to the government?
Well, if your solar panel slides off the roof or something, that must have meant like you didn't attach it well on. So if you attach it well on, it will slide off. So.
And the tree's not going to fall down on a solar panel every day. Very odd.
Done.
Done.
Okay. Nuclear will never be safe. It is a natural disaster waiting to happen. And a natural disaster is completely natural, and you cannot stop it. The nuclear meltdowns will never stop.
Done.
Kelsey, you said it's number 4.
Number 4.
That is not true. There have only been 4 meltdowns, and nuclear power plants have the best safety ratings in all of the energy sources.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Number 4.
No, I want to read it.
Solar panels are ugly, so people don't like to put them on their roofs.
Okay, judges have to be better.
What? I didn't hear
The
you.
solar panels are ugly, so people don't like to put them on their roof. I'm not done.
Okay, done.
Really good. Marty,
Well,
don't do it that way
that's
next time.
an opinion.
But I'm
People
getting frustrated,
might
so stop.
think
They're beautiful.
beautiful. And just because it's ugly doesn't mean people don't want to use it.
It's an ad, sorry.
Done. Nuclear energy is a target for terrorism because when people are traveling, terrorists will try to aim for their toxic waste, which if they do aim correctly, that could spill all over and spread across a country or a certain amount of land.
That is
Wait,
true.
did you say done?
No.
Done.
That is true, but nuclear power plants are heavily protected for that very reason.
So it doesn't happen anymore. And actually,
I don't think
to our knowledge, all
Yeah.
4 of us, we haven't seen
Yeah, I've
anything or
never-
read anything or watched anything like as in video on YouTube that has ever happened like that.
Yeah, that might have happened, but for our knowledge, we don't know about it yet. So,
Yeah, done.
Storing solar energy is expensive.
Because the batteries are more or less small. So the amount of energy it like harnesses, so we are saying you guys need a lot of energy. It is true. You guys do collect a lot of energy, but you need a lot of solar panels to do that. So if you when you do fill up your battery, once it goes over, you're losing energy. It doesn't go right to your house. It stays in the battery until the nighttime. So you lose energy at that very point. You get?
When do you lose energy, Ryan?
Like during the daytime, like if they do produce enough energy to like fill up the battery and more, they lose that energy because
Oh.
they only have that
They
one
can't
battery.
collect anymore.
They can't
I
collect
gotcha.
anymore, and they're losing stuff that they already collected. You good?
yeah.
Done.
Well, you would be actually using that energy, and if you like set up like a deal, that energy could go to your neighbors. It could go to one of your friends or family members, and they could use that energy too. So it's actually not going to waste if you did that. But if you did, and you'd be using that energy, so it wouldn't. It might be full if you never use energy, but usually you would be using it. So.
And
It probably wouldn't
and
happen
you
much.
might be using more than one battery. Because I don't know why I'd use one battery. So if you're going to use more batteries, you're going to use more batteries. So you could fill up all of those batteries and you have energy for the whole day.
Or more.
Or more.
Done.
Done. Meltdowns are dangerous for the environment and the people living in the power plant range. So that means it's very dangerous.
And there are different types of reactors using different methods and materials, but the basic principle is a very old one, and it's considered, but there's no reason to site a reactor close to a fault line.
Done.
We are building power plants away from people to reduce the risk that if a power plant explodes, which is not likely to happen, a little amount of radiation released does not harm people.
Done.
Hi.
We have an argument.
I know, I'm doing that.
Hydrogen, which is in the making of, what does that say?
Oh. What does that say?
Oh, hydrogen, which is in the making of photovoltaic panels, is also an active material in H-bombs. They are not only tremendously destructive, but produce dangerous fallouts. So, like, there's enough hydrogen power in there. Like, we have a video, but we ran out of extensions. It is almost as powerful as a nuclear bomb because you guys use fusion, nuclear fusion, like you use in this, which is the sun, is different from what we use as fission. Fission is more safe than the fusion that you use. That's why H-bombs are dangerous. Done, I guess.
Well, I didn't really get why you, like, what that really meant, so I don't, can you repeat that? Because, like, I didn't get
It'll
what
be
it
an
was.
hour time too.
Yes. There is hydrogen in solar panels. So the hydrogen inside your panels is dangerous. It's really dangerous, but it kind of has that scared away feel that people wouldn't want to buy it because there's bomb material inside something they're gonna buy. So it's not really that safe.
Oh, no, it's not that. But, it probably doesn't explode very often if it has bomb material on it. Jason, it probably doesn't explode or anything.
Okay, boys and girls, for clarity reasons, I just want to explain that the argument technically wasn't correct, so you couldn't have responded in an appropriate way. So there were flaws in the argument. Judges just know that going in, whatever you're scoring, okay? Not to be mean, but like I couldn't have responded if I was solar to that argument because it wasn't technically correct. Okay. I'm sorry, this is our last argument, so take as long as you need to find out your last arguments, both sides. Tell me when you're ready. Judges, try to stick with it. I know we sat a little longer than usual today. Of course, we still have a conclusion. We still, oh yeah, they can use their extension if they want.
We're ready.
It is still taking.
Are you guys gonna use your extensions?
Well, maybe.
Hey guys, it's not really a break time. You're just figuring out your last argument. Remember, we did this last time too. So, do you both have it?
Yes.
All right. So, Solar, would you please do your last argument?
Nuclear is a middle power source requiring large infrastructure, investment, and coordination, where better sources, including solar and wind, can be more efficient, less costly, and more resilient.
Resilient. Done?
Done.
All right.
Wait, can we have a defense? Or is it-
So now you defend that.
I found it.
Go ahead, Sal. Or go ahead. Whoever has it, go ahead.
Do it. It is very efficient and produces lots of electricity every day. The U.S. uses electricity from nuclear power plants about 23% each day.
That's about how much electricity, of like all the electricity used in a day, 23% of it comes from our power, which is, that's a lot of power. And yours, I believe, is like under 1%, because it's part of the 1% of the 1% of the renewables.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. We good?
Yes.
Done.
And your last item?
You guys want to use your extensions?
They don't have one that's just solar,
Alright,
right?
I know I'm talking to solar.
Oh, well, they don't know the question yet, though.
Please do that. Okay. Building a solar panel has some unnoticed flaws like silicon tetralite, which is highly dangerous and can leak out, and that means if someone ingests a poison crop, it could result in casualties. The bubbly white liquid is often just dumped in nearby villages. The land where you dump or bury silicon tetralite will be infertile. No grass or trees will grow in the place. It is poisonous. It is polluted. Human beings can never touch it. While silicon tetrafluoride can be recycled with significant investment costs, time, and energy consumption.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that good? Yeah.
Is that in the producing of the solar panels that they use that chemical?
Yes.
Building a
The
solar
silicon.
Thank you.
Are you guys going to use both of your extensions
We're gonna use it later.
later?
This
Well,
is
you
the
can't.
It is your last chance. You can have as long as you want for your conclusion, you guys.
Okay. So wait, are you going to use them? Yes or no?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, like you said about terrorism for years, like I've never ever heard about that leaking. I don't hear any reports about that. It's not very common, and so I don't really hear about it. It wasn't on the packet, it wasn't online, so. That's our conclusion.
So yeah, now we have to go to our conclusion.
MS.
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Go out and do your conclusions, kids. Can you
This
start
is a
over,
video
please?
of the Fukushima meltdown that
Hi, I'm
happened
Jackie
in
Tates from Arlington Heights.
Japan, and it was just a disaster. So,
So we can keep playing and then the commercial will never be over.
and it was just horrible.
It's
So
really bad. It's a
please watch carefully.
Okay. You might think that this is only a little leak. Of course it looks little from far away, but right there is killing people and animals. Solar is a better choice. It wants no harm, so think how great it would be to use solar. It's safe, renewable. You don't have to have harm in your future. You hope. And so it's just leaking out all this radiation, spreading it among the people, the animals, and this is in China.
No, it's in Japan.
Japan.
Fukushima's in
I'm
Japan.
sorry, I'm just saying China. And it spreads like a wildfire across like
Not a
the
wildfire.
earth.
Well, and that's it.
And then we have another video to show.
Yes.
That was cool.
You just saw
Okay, you cannot talk. Judges, I'm getting frustrated. Please stop.
This is a video.
Fire and rescue workers.
This is a video of a abandoned city because of nuclear. People had to just leave their town
And it's
because
spreading like crazy.
this is all the nuclear that has been spreading throughout the whole. I think is that a
Chernobyl.
yeah Chernobyl,
And
that's-
people had to abandon their city because of this. And so it shows pictures in this of people who abandoned their city.
and it's just horrible. Skip past that.
So this is the abandoned city.
And one small Catholic school, a hospital, and a pharmacy. This church is currently under restoration.
Guys, you have to skip past. This is not the part that.
And this kitty.
This cat has been just by itself since.
And the normal radiation level is 0.59, and later it shows that there's this person holding up what the
radioactive sensor thing.
Like sensor thing, and it's like 5. Yeah, see it right here. What does it say?
6.82.
6.82, which is
92.
very dangerous, considering that's way over the normal radiation. And all these schools had to be abandoned, and everything's abandoned.
So you can just see all the stuff that not nuclear caused, but nuclear caused the people to leave, which caused this very innocent place to be such a horrible
And everything's
wreck.
destroyed.
All right, wrap it up, kiddos.
So that's how terrible.
Look at that.
Okay, we're done.
Okay, nuclear.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, nuclear energy is cheap. It's in most racks that you have to dig for, but it is cheap. It is in most racks. Only 4 meltdowns, not like 3 major meltdowns, but 4 meltdowns total in history, and very few people have ever died. But the radiation is, yes, our problem, and that is what we're trying to figure out. We are trying to control it. That's why we have safety rods and all those gizmos, those sciencey gizmos, to save people from leaving places like this. And we're researching safer ways to work. The low carbon dioxide output is the big factor because it doesn't give off any radiation. Any pollution, not radiation. There's a large capacity for storing electricity compared to like what you guys have, which is small, but then you have to sell it to places. But I see how that works. It's good for the earth because there's almost no pollution. Almost. And existing and future nuclear waste can be reduced to a very small amount because we are finding new ways to store it and compress it. So the waste is there, but then the radiation, we're kind of extracting it. And here's a video of something so cute, little baby tortoise could be destroyed by the production of your solar panels being made. It's a baby tortoise. Aww, isn't it cute? And because of you, the little shell will be crushed, and it'll just be sitting there like this.
Yeah.
We produce more amounts of energy than wind and solar generators do as on an average day, because wind is unpredictable and solar energy is unpredictable because the sun is always there, but it's not necessarily in the nighttime, and under clouds you don't get energy.
Okay, Rowan, you can't talk to him. I'm agreeing that both of you guys have had pretty flawed conclusions at the moment. I'll talk to the judges about it, but you cannot talk to each other.
All right.
Keep going, Ryan. I appreciate the effort.
Okay. We can be made if we run out of uranium, we can use thorium and plutonium to help with to live the lifespan from the 80 years left of uranium we have left to a 230 year span. So the amount of energy we can make in a day, times it by how many days in 230 years, that's a lot of energy. That's enough, I don't know, but that's a lot of energy and electricity. And about 23% of the energy, electricity that we use in a day comes from nuclear power. So it's a boost because that shows how much energy we produce. And reprocessing can recover 95% of the unused atoms that, when we use it, there's 95% of the atoms that we have are unused. So, if we can reprocess them because they're so clean, we can reprocess them and reuse them to get even more energy out of the excess that we have, which is a big, good thing. You guys can. You guys do yours.
Not much time left though, kiddos.
Where must the solar panels be placed for maximum energy output, and why it is bad? Solar thermal uses large amounts of desert land and potentially endangered the desert tortoise and the other creatures. Done. That's good.
All right, go in the hallway, please. Thank you. The one thing I'd like to say is truly the debate portion was solid. I feel strongly about that. I like both of the teams. I actually told the judges for me, since I don't keep tallies, I was kind of ready to go either way at the end based on a few factors. So I want you to know for me, it was a close vote. I'll never tell you for the other teams, or for the other judges, rather. We did take a vote, though, and we do have a winner. So did you congratulate each other before you found out? Okay.
Congratulations. Oh, we had a group hug in the
Oh, how nice.
Except for the boys and the tomboy.
Oh. That's fine. All right. Our winner's going on to verse. Who are they going against in the final? Geothermal. So the final rounds. So it'll be geothermal versus solar. Okay. I'm proud of both of you guys, though. So. What? Good job, both teams.